Slucky, can everyone hear me?
Khan.
All right, multi in Christ. Right, we're gonna start right now, right?
What's up?
Live. All right, Shalom. This is the I.S.U.P.K. under commanding General YAHANNA. You know, in the UK, yes, there is a school. The address is 394 Lodge Road, postcode B18 5PW. And in this school, we teach classes for all times a week. So you got the Monday history class done by Officer Karafia, man. Then you got the Brotherhood class. It's not done in the school, but it's done online, man, by Officer Shamgar, man. You know, excellent officer breaking down how Brotherhood is supposed to be, man. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you know what I mean, being one race of people, man, loving each other, keeping these commandments. Then you got Wednesday law class done by Officer Dumgabar. Then, of course, today you got the Thursday scripture breakdown class. Then on Friday, we got on the ends, you know, the official I.S.U.P.K UK radio show, man.
Right.
And that radio show, we got the Warhead Captain Mashak Mayon, man. Always breaking it down, man. Then on Saturday, we got the Sir Abath class, you know what I mean, where we break down the law. First read in the Hebrew, which is the Lasha 1 Quadash. Then we translate it into the English. So that's what we got, man. So with that, we're gonna get into a class today, man. Now with this class, you know what I mean, this is for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. If we believe England is a place for us, by today, you're not gonna believe that anymore, man. If you
Right.
believe, you know, listen, I'm safe in England be, be, because of what they say, today you're gonna realize, listen, England can't save you, man. And your hope in England is done, man. You better start hoping in the Lord. I mean, regardless of what they say, and it may make you feel safe, you ain't safe, man. So now, if the UK can't help you, then guess who can? The Lord, man. And it's about time blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians start serving their God, which is the God of Israel. I'm going to do that right now. But yeah, you know, it's time that we start doing that because we think, you know, we're gonna find help in some other way, and we're not, man. So I'm gonna get into an article first, and then this is gonna show you that if you believe England, you know what I mean, if you believe that this land right here, they can help you from the hand of the Lord, you are mistaken, man. If you believe England can, you know what I mean, save you, listen, then you are misinformed, man. And we're gonna get into that in a hot second. Bear with me. All right, just send that right now. Yeah, so we're gonna get into one of the articles today. Also, this being a scripture breakdown class, you know, if you wanna write in anything, if there's a verse in the Bible you don't understand, then bring it here, man. You know what I mean? You read a verse on the Gentiles, bring it here, and we can show you if they're Israelites or not, man. If you believe John 3:16 means God loves the whole world, then bring it here and we'll show you that it doesn't mean that. So if you've been reading anything in the week, you don't understand it, then you know, also this being a scripture breakdown class, this is where, you know, you ask also as well.
Right.
So we got a few articles, but this is one of them. Yeah, so we're gonna get into one of the articles of today. And what is the point of this article? That England cannot save you, man. You know what I mean? Everyone believes, well, if I follow everything, I'll be all right. And let me tell you something. You need to follow the Lord. Then everything will be all right, man. So yeah, let's get that.
The Metro newspaper. Test and trace show no sign improving as 40% of contacts missed.
So now, with the whole coronavirus, they believe that people are infected by it. They can track them down. They believe, no, okay, so he went here. We'll, we know that he was here. He went here, so that if they infect someone else, they have something in place where they can identify, who was who had it. Then they infected someone else. But look what the headline saying, that it doesn't work. And they've lost 40% of them already. So meaning those saying he went here, he was infected. Listen, they've lost just under half of them, man. If you believe in England and I'm safe, they're looking at everyone, they're making sure where everyone goes to know who's infected, who's not. England can't even do that, man.
That's right.
So if you're hoping in England thinking they're gonna save you, listen, I'm gonna live how I wanna live. But I know that my life is safe in their hands. You are lying to yourself, man. What they said they would do, and they would make sure that it would run 100%. They've lost just under 50% of them. So that shows even the rules that they have, they can't even stick to them, man. So that means there's people infected and they've lost them, man. They've lost them, so they go, okay, he went here, he went to his job. He's infected, and now they don't even know where they are, man. Right. So what does that mean? England cannot save us, man. If you was hoping that, listen, what they have in place, it would help us. It cannot help you, man. Which shows us what? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we need the Lord, man. We need the Lord. You hope in this land, and look, they can't even help you, man. There's people that, they have the tabs on and they've lost them. They don't know where they are. They're infected and they've lost them. They don't know. They could be in Blackpool right now, infecting hundreds. Be in Manchester, infecting hundreds. West Midlands, East Midlands. Infecting hundreds of people, and they've lost them. Reader.
The government's test and trace system is showing no signs of improvement
and also it shows that it's not working. So when they lie to you, we got the lockdown and we're gonna look at everyone, we're gonna see where they go, where the infected went, and we're gonna put a lockdown on this coronavirus. It's not in proving anything, man.
Right.
And why are we reading this for you online, man? To show you that England and the rules and the regulations they have cannot save you, man. You need something greater than England, and that's the Lord, man.
That's right.
That's the God of Israel. That's what you need. England's rules and regulations, the track and all that stuff, it cannot save you, man. It cannot save you. All the precautions they have, can they save us? No, they can't, man. And this article, they're admitting it, that it cannot do it, and it's not showing no signs of it even working, man. Reader.
Of latest figures for the number of people reached have remained flat. New data shows that 60.5% of close contacts or people who tested positive for COVID-19 in England were successfully contacted in the week ending November 11. This is unchanged on the previous week and is also just above the all-time low of 60.1% for the first week in October 14. A total of 167,369 people tested positive for COVID-19 in England at least once in the week to November 11.
And there you go, man. So meaning with the regulations England has, Is it really helping? No, it's not, man. And you got people, well, if it's say with Boris Johnson, he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? So if you have it, isolate, they find out where you went. They'll let everyone else know that you have it, and then they'll have to isolate. And listen, all of that isn't working. They're admitting it that listen, all the rules that they have in place, they're not doing nothing. All of it is done. All of it is nonsense, man. So what do we need to do? Serve the Lord, man. What do we need to do? We need to start to put our hope in something better than England, man.
That's right.
We need to take our hope from Boris Johnson and the rules and the regulations, the track and the trace. None of that isn't working. And you know what's funny? Some people believe in it. Like, listen, it'll all be gone soon, man. You track it and you trace it and you isolate it, and they're admitting that this is not working, man. This, regulation that got this rule, it's not doing anything. So let's drop that. Let's get Psalms 118 and 8.
Gone and the one gone. Psalms chapter 118 and verse 8. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man.
And there you go, man. It's better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. And that's the problem. Many of us in England, we put our confidence in man.
Right.
Isolate, track and trace. And guess what? Many people had put their confidence in man only to find out that that confidence was a waste of time, man. None of those rules on the coronavirus don't work. So what do we need to do? Serve the Lord, man. With the trust that we got, let's give that to the Lord, man. We've gave our confidence to England for so many years. And has it benefited us? No, it hasn't, man. Has it helped us out as a race of people? No, it hasn't. Why? Because the confidence we have in them is vanity, man. It's vain. It's not gonna help us. And as you can see from the article that we just read, all of it is nonsense. All of it is a farce. All of it is not helping bring down the spread of the coronavirus. They're admitting it, the track and the trace. You know what I mean? We'll ring up the people around them. None of it is working. It sounds nice. It sounds good. So, if you got it, we'll track you. We'll trace you. We'll let your friends know. Everyone at work know. And is that helping anybody? No, it's not. Is that doing anything to bring, this down, this epidemic? No, it's not, man. Showing you it's nonsense. And why do we believe it? Because we have our confidence in man.
Right.
We're so confident. They know what they're doing. The track and trace sounds excellent. But here's the problem. The Lord, he doesn't want it, man. That's what they want, but it's not the plan of the Lord, man. And we got to understand that. We got to stop. You know what I mean? Letting man have all of our confidence and let the God of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, let him have our confidence, man. Boris Johnson has had our confidence for too long, man. And he can't do anything, man. He can't even wear his suit right, man. You can't wear your suit right. And I want to put my confidence in you. You can't, you know what I mean, sort out your appearance. And I'm meant to put my confidence in you. Never, man. Reader.
Salakia. Verse 9. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes.
And there you go, man. I remember now, this is in Psalms right here. King David wrote this. And King David knew it, man, that, listen, we need to start serving the Lord, man. Start putting our confidence in the Lord. Why? Because when we have our confidence in man, we get let down, man. You know what I mean? All of our hopes, all of the aspirations we have, You know what I mean? It doesn't go how we thought it would, man. Why? Because man can't help us, man.
That's right.
With the situation we are in, it comes from on high, man. This comes from the Lord. And guess what? If we don't serve the Lord, it will never be all right, man. If we don't serve the Lord, it will never be fine. And that's the problem. Regardless of what rules they have, this will never be fine if we don't serve the Lord, man. If we're in the church, this will never be fine, man. If we're in the mosque, this will never be fine. And that's something we need to realize, man. That's something we need to understand, or we'll just be going round and round, always throwing our confidence in man, and that man cannot help us, man. Read on.
Can't. They compassed me about. Yea, they compassed me about. But in the name of the Lord, I will destroy them.
And there, man, you mean they're around us, but if we serve the Lord, they cannot win, man. They cannot win. Listen, forget all the rules, regulations. Of course, you know what I mean. If they're wanting to wear a mask, wear that mask. But you know that that mask ain't salvation, man. You
Right.
know that that mask ain't saving you. It's the Lord, man. You're just wearing that mask because you know what I mean. You don't want to get a fine, but you know that the real protection is from the God of Israel, man.
That's right.
So like from there, give me Isaiah for 43 and 2. Isaiah for 43 and 2.
God. The book of Isaiah, chapter 43 and verse 2. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee.
So now listen to what the Lord's saying, man. Wherever we go, the Lord is with us, man. You know what I mean? We just read the article and England's rules and regulations, the track and the trace cannot save us. But listen to what the Lord said to Isaiah, man. A man that served the Lord, a man that gave his life to his God, a man that served God. And the Lord said to Isaiah, wherever you walk, I will be with thee, man. Wherever you go, I will be with thee, man. Not Boris Johnson, not England. The Lord said to Isaiah, wherever your feet walk, I will be with you, man. And read on.
God. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through fire, thou shalt not be burned.
And imagine that, man. That's the protection the Lord has for us, man. To hell with England, man. England never protected us anyway, man.
That's right.
That's
You know,
right.
you want to know what hurts the most? In England, we live a lie, man. Like, it's funny how people believe the lie and the lie has never happened, man. You know what I mean? We've been given tons of lies in England from the Windrush, and not one of them has happened. And even till this very present day, we still believe in them lies, man. And
Right.
listen, you know what I mean? Me, I've had enough, man. I don't
God.
care what England has to say, man. I'll follow the laws. I'm no thief. I'll wear a mask. But guess what? I know that the Lord has better, man.
That's right.
The Lord has better. You know what I mean? I don't care what rules they got. It's not going to save me. But I know
Right.
from reading the book of Isaiah, listen, man, I'm protected, man. Wherever our feet go, we are safe, man. We won't get burned. Why? Because the God that we serve, man. The God that we keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. Reader.
When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee.
And there you go, man. We walk through a fire. We won't even be burnt, man. Imagine that. If we serve our God that much, we could walk through a fire, man, and not be burnt, man. That's the protection I'm looking for. That's the
Right.
protection I'm looking for. You want to know why? Because when it comes to England, they were offering a protection and it can't even work, man.
That's right.
They're offering a protection and it's a lie. They know that really all this isolation, the tracking, and all that stuff, It's not working anyway. It is nonsense. It's nonsense. They know it that really it's not helping nothing. And guess what? Every day from the 11th of November, the cases have not dropped. All right, drop that. Anyone? No. Drop that one. Isaiah 26 and 3.
Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee.
And that's the Lord, man. He can protect us. In peace, man, we shall be, man. Meaning what? We won't be afraid. Why? Because we trust on the Lord, man. And that's what we can get. So, for anyone believing about England's rules and regulations, always keep this in mind. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the law of the land, that's why it's done. But you know that real protection comes from the God of Israel, man. Real
Right.
protection comes from the God of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It doesn't come from England's rules and regulations, man. And do it. I'm not telling you not to do it. If they say wear a mask, wear that mask, man. But you know that mask ain't doing nothing for you, man. All the
Right.
mask is doing is making it hard for you to inhale, man. That's all it's doing. But you know that real protection comes from your God. Read that one more time.
Come. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee.
And there you go, man. Because he trusteth in the Lord, he's in peace, man. And let me tell you something, that is one West right there, man. That is the I.S.U.P.K.
That's
Imagine
right.
this. Now, of course, us being in here, we don't see sometimes. Imagine this, the earth is going through an epidemic, man, a pandemic. People are dying from a virus. And in here, we're not even bothered, man. In here, you mean while these things are happening, it's not even on our mind. What is on our mind? Class, camp. You mean? And now that's weird. In the world, you mean everyone's masking up, hand sanitizer everywhere, man. All these signs, you can't enter if you're not wearing a mask. You know what I mean? And guess what? In here, we're in peace, man. In here, our mind, we know of it, but are we concerned? No, man.
Right.
Yes, we break down that it's from the Lord, but are we like those in the world? No, we're not, man. Why? Because we're in peace. And like how the Lord said it to Isaiah, it applies to us, man. We'll be in peace. Why? Because we serve the Lord, man. While the world is collapsing, face masks everywhere, there is a people out there that are in peace, not because they're great, it's because of the God that they serve, man. Their God is the author, and guess what? He can pick who gets it and who doesn't, regardless of a face mask, regardless of hand sanitizer, and that's the God that we serve. While the whole earth is upside down, we are in peace, black man. And that's where you, and guess what? If you want peace, you need to come through these doors, man. You need to contact the school. If you're in England, you need to contact the number, man. Look us up on Facebook, YouTube, and the Google My Business, man. Look us up wherever we are. And guess what? You come in, you're all black, man. You come in here and serve your God. And guess what? You won't even know what the coronavirus is, man. The only thing you'll do is hear about it, man. Read on.
Come. Verse 4. Trust ye in the Lord forever, for in the Lord Yahweh is everlasting strength.
And there you go, man. Isaiah, he knew what we had to do, man. And we gotta serve the Lord. And in him is strength everlasting, man. Meaning it don't run out. You know when someone gets weak after a while,
Right.
that's not the Lord, man. You might see someone they're hench, but after a while, they can only bench a certain amount, man. And then they get weak. The Lord, his strength is everlasting, man. Meaning the Lord don't get weak. The Lord doesn't get exhausted. And that's what we have, man, as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
That's right.
We got something that the whole earth has not got, man. And it's called a living God, man.
That's right.
The whole earth, do you know what they got? Rocks, idols, wood. We got a living God that we don't need to have no idol for him, man. He's alive, meaning what? He makes things happen. Those idols can't do nothing, man. Imagine this. You make it, and then you got to make it go in your house somewhere, man. You got to lift it up and bring it in your back room, in your living room, in your dining room. How can that be God if you are if you have to make it move, man?
Right.
That can't be a living God. But guess what, black man, Hispanic man, native Indian man, you got the living God, man. You got the God that can stop you from getting the coronavirus, man.
That's right.
You got the God that, guess what? You mean you don't need to wear it, that you wouldn't need to wear a mask, man. You got the God that can protect you, man. We look up to England like it is our God, and England cannot protect us, man. We just read the article with the track and the trace. It can't do it, man. So that can wait. You know what I mean? So England cannot do it. So what do we need to do? Serve the God of Israel, man.
Right.
Yeah, read on.
Come. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high. The lofty city, he layeth it low. He layeth it low even to the ground.
So
He
like,
bringeth
now,
it.
no, sweat. Now that right there, man. Of course, this class being in England, I'm talking about England, but you can use this verse on any place, man. America, Canada, DC. You know what I mean wherever, man. The Lord, he can bring down a place low, man. And let me tell you something. Before COVID-19 came about, England was on high, man.
Right.
England was high, man, making billions every day, man. What's that high street in London? Oxford Street. You can look it up. Oxford Street makes $1 million an hour, man. And now look at Oxford Street now, man. Barely getting by, man. The Lord can bring anything low, man. And if you don't believe me, look at England, man. Look at all the shops. Look at the economy, man. Imagine this. They said if a business is non-essential, it must be shut. England's economy is that bad. People are willing to take the fines, man. They will leave their shop open like, well, okay, fine. I'll have the fine, but guess what? This shop ain't shutting because I can't afford it, man. This shop has to remain open or otherwise I'm going to be bankrupt. And that's what the Lord did, man. That's what your God did, black man. Your God bankrupted England, man. Your God took all the finances out of the UK, man. One of the most powerfulest countries on the face of the earth. And look at it now, man. Barely making anything. People filing for redundancy. Why? Because that's what the Lord can do. It can bring cities down, man. Read on.
Khan. He bringeth he layeth it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. The foot shall tread it down, even the foot of the poor, and the steps of the needy.
And guess what? That is us, man. With them, the poor. Who's it talking about? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And guess
Right.
what? This place comes down by our foot, man. I mean, we serve the Lord, and then the Lord brings this place down by our feet, man. The poor, man. We are the poor in England, suffering, dying, can't get anything. And I'm not going to do it yet, but in a second article we have, you know what I mean? It's going to show that, you know what I mean? Us as blacks and Hispanics in the UK, when people like to say, you know what I mean? You can do it if you put your mind into it, man. You know what I mean? You're not working hard enough. We got an article that shows you that that is a lie. And it comes from someone that works from the inside, man. So we're going to get to that in a moment too, man. All right, drop that. And let's get Jeremiah 17 and 6.
Another one, Khan. Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse, a man that trusteth in man.
And there you go, man. You're cursed if you know what I mean, believe in some other man, man. You're trusting him. Now, of course, in context, you're talking about a man that makes you stop serving the Lord. You know, because people look at scripture in the UPK, you lot trust in commanding General YAHANNA. And now, of course, in the Bible, Isaiah's a man, Ezekiel's a man, Haggai's a man, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, Yahushua, he's a man. So, of course, could verse 5 really mean this? Or then we would have a contradiction.
Right.
Everyone loves the book of Isaiah, but if you believe in his words, then what? You are a curse, man. You know what I mean? Right. You believe in the words of Isaiah, you're cursed. You believe in the words of Haggai, you're cursed, man. You believe in what Ezekiel wrote down, you are cursed. So does this verse really mean that? No, it doesn't, man.
Right.
But as we read on, it's gonna say what I'm saying. Read on.
Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord.
And that's the part you want right there, man. Whose heart departeth from the Lord, man. So it's not that you can't trust in a man. It's talking about a man who makes you depart from the Lord.
Right.
Guess what? When we believe in England, we depart from the Lord, man. When we believe their rules, their regulations, their procedures, then guess what happens to us? We depart from the Lord. And how do we depart from the Lord? Because then we believe that the power ain't from the Lord, it's from England, man.
Right.
England can save me if I do what they say, and England cannot save you, man. It's the Lord that can save you. It's the God of Israel that can save you. It's not England, man. Read on.
For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when God cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness. And assault.
Looks like it. So now, what is all this on about, man? Meaning this man, because he doesn't believe in the Lord, his life is non-prosperous. It's like a sheep. It means, okay, imagine on a windy day and there's just one sheep just blowing around. It's weak. I mean that with this person, you know what I mean? He's weak, man. His life is rough, man. Why? Because of the man that he believes in, man, who made him depart from the Lord. 137, 1-9. Cool. It's like 1 second. It's gonna answer a question online.
Psalms 137 and 1. By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered Zion.
Okay, so what exactly is one? Breakdown. All right. I'll have to get back to you because I'm not sure if this is it's an event that happened in the past, in the time of King David, or he's talking of a prophetical event. So you know what I mean. So when it's talking about Babylon right there, I would need to know if it's talking about Babylon in the future tense or an event that happened probably before King David. So I'll definitely get that for next week. Everything in there is good, but I just need to know which in this Psalms here, which Babylon it is on about. All right, no sweat. All right, so from there, let's read on in the book of Jeremiah.
Go on. Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 6. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited.
And there you go, man. That person is desolate, man. And guess what? That can be us if we believe in England, man. If we
Right.
stop serving our God and just leave our life in the hands of England, we're gonna be just like that, man. In a place that's just desolate, nothing going good for us, man. So what do we
Uh,
need to do to serve our God? Read the next verse.
Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord,
Hmm.
and whose hope the Lord is.
And there, man. And our hope has to be the Lord, man.
That's right.
Our hope has to be our God. Why? Because there's nothing else out there, man. And if you don't believe me, look at Black life in the church for 400 years, no hope. Joined Islam, no hope, man. Then what did we do next? We tried to mix it up. This ain't regular Islam right here. This is Black Islam, the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad. That failed too, man. Rastafarianism failed, man. Left black people hopeless. Egyptology left black people hopeless, man. Anything we do, it doesn't give us no hope. At the time, it feels right, man. But guess what? We don't get no hope. But if we serve the living God, that's where the hope is, man. Read
Right.
on.
Verse 8. But for he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green.
So now,
And
with this man right here, you mean he's prosperous, man. A tree
right,
by the rivers. What does that mean? He's getting lots of water, man. The other guy
right,
reading the wind, man, in a place of salt. Who believes in the Lord? You're like a tree by the river, man. Getting all the water, getting all the sun. Meaning what? The Lord is with you, man. You will grow. Everything will be fine, man. If you serve the Lord, and that's what we need to understand. You know, yeah,
right,
you wear your mask if it's the law, but know that listen, the real help comes from the God of Israel, man. The real saving comes from the God of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's the real help. That's the real help right there. Nothing else, man. All right,
right.
drop. Let's get. One second. Slack, can
Your mic is gone very quiet. Other one.
everyone? Yeah, it's like an interference, like you know, like a phone with like
Your mic is
a
gone very
signal.
quiet. Other one. Oh, that's lag. That's hella lag. Okay.
Like you know, like a phone with like all right, I got it. Yeah, no sweat. Yes, drop that. Let's get Matthew 6:26.
1, 2, 6. It's like the other one. Can you hear me, or is there a bit of a lag?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can
You can
hear
hear
you.
me. So Matthew 6 and what? That one.
Matthew 6 and 26.
Another one. Can't. Matthew chapter 6, verse 26. Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns. Yet your heavenly Father feedeth them.
All right. So now, why is Yahushua talking about the birds for? Why? Because it's showing us something, man. And I want everyone to think about this. You know what I mean? If you look at life, if you look at a bird gets fed, man. A
Right.
bird gets looked after, and a bird doesn't do what we do, man. A bird just lives. It finds food somehow, man.
God.
And Yahushua is saying to us, if the Lord can protect the birds, you know what I mean? A bird can get fed, and it hasn't got a barn. It hasn't got some, what some places Old West didn't have. Nah, it's like an enlockment. You know what I mean? A bird ain't got some enlockment somewhere, and birds get fed, man. I ain't seen an anorexic bird yet, man.
God.
Birds eat. Then guess what? How much more will the Lord protect us, man?
Right.
How much more will the Lord look after those that keep his commandments? Read on.
God. Slacker. Yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they?
And guess what? We are better than any fowl, man. We're better than
Right.
any bird, eagle, a pigeon. We are better than them. So how much more would the Lord look after us, man? How much more will the Lord look after us if he looks after a bird, man? The Lord will look after us tenfold, man. More than any bird. And that's why we need to serve him, man. In these last days, we're going to see some things, man. You know what I mean? In the Bible, it said that all these things are just the beginning. In the book of Matthew, it said all these things are the beginning, man. So if you're afraid now, then forget about it, man. What you're going to see down the line is going to be worse.
Right.
Reader.
God. Verse 27. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? And
Reader.
why Slacker. And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin.
There, man. So now, what is it on about now? Raiment, man. The things that we wear. I mentioned a flower here and saying, look at it. It looks nice in it. And guess what? The Lord decorated that, man. And you think
Right.
the Lord can't look after us? People are afraid, the coronavirus, And you know what's sad about it as well? Some people, they'll rather believe that it's not from the Lord and that instead is made by some scientists. Everyone would rather believe something else except that God done it, man. And here's the question I always have for them. Why would God not do it? When look at this earth, is everyone following his laws? No. So people are like, God wouldn't, God would not make this happen. When I asked them, so why would God not do it? And guess what? They can't answer it, man. Because
Right.
this whole earth does not follow the God of Israel. This whole earth doesn't keep the laws of God. And that's why God did do it, man.
Right.
Reader.
God. And why take ye Slacker? I've read that. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe to you, O ye of little faith?
And there, man, if God looks, if God decorated this flower right here, and then when it's hot, it gets burnt up, then how much more would God look after us, man? And who are those of Le Ital faith? That's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man.
Right.
I mean, we have little faith, man. Whenever someone loves England more than the Lord, that is little faith right there, man. Whenever someone loves America, Canada, Jamaica more than the God of Israel, then that shows they have little faith. And they believe, well, I believe more of what they can do, then that shows how much faith you really have. And it's like, that's right. And if you never heard it on the mic, in regards to the UK, they're saying that for the holiday time, they might seduct the lockdown, make everyone do their Christmas, and then once it is all done, then get back to the lockdown. That is ridiculous. So hang on, you don't want no one to get infected, but you would drop the lockdown for a holiday. So isn't that going to infect everyone? That's going to infect everyone, and then boom, once it's done, to put the lockdown back on. I mean, we can't. We can't look up to England. That is ridiculous.
That's
So, so now with the coronavirus, it's so dangerous. But for the holiday time, we'll let everyone meet up, and then when it's done, everyone back on lockdown. I thought this was a dangerous virus,
right.
and it shows, man. If you believe their words over the words of the Lord, then shame on you, man.
That's right.
Shame on you, man. You mean that alone would make anyone wonder, like, that is silly. So hang on. You mean this virus is a world pandemic, man? You mean it's killed thousands of people, hundreds, and for a holiday time, you're gonna let people meet up, and then once it's done, put them back on lockdown. Damn, that should make anyone seek the Lord, man. But you know what? That
Right.
don't make no sense. As a black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna seek the God of Israel, man. Cause why? Cause them rules are dumb and stupid, man. You know what I mean? Let's get some more. 1 second. Let's get. Hmm? No sweat. Let's get Proverbs 29 and 25.
Proverbs 29:25. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe.
There you go, man. When you're afraid of man, it's a snare, a trap. It's a trap, man. And what's that trap? We are afraid of our oppressor, man.
Right.
We're afraid of England. That's the rules. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean because they said it, that's gonna bring safety. That is a trap right there, man. When you're afraid of a man, that is a trap. It basically stops you from serving the Lord. You know what I mean? When you are afraid of a man, that stops you serving the Lord, man. But guess what? When you believe in the Lord, you are safe, man. There's safety. If you don't want to catch the coronavirus, serve the Lord, man, and get that safety, man.
Right.
So that's Article 1. If anyone has any questions online, do feel free to type them in. Go through that one.
So lucky other one. I have one scripture. Appreciate a breakdown on.
I got you.
It's Hebrews 11 and 3. Just the second bit essentially of that verse.
I got it. 1 second. Get there.
No, sir.
Gone too far. Hebrews 11:3. All right. So what's that again? Hebrews 11:3.
Can't.
Okay. No sweat. All right. For this, it's good to start from verse 1 just to get the understanding of it. So if you could
Right.
start from Hebrews 11:1.
Can't. Book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
So now that is a definition of faith right there, meaning it's something you hope for but you don't see it. Like
Right.
I'll give you a basic example. We believe that Yahushua he's gonna return. Have we seen it?
Nah,
What do? We hope for it and we work for it.
can't.
We're even doing a class now. You mean we repented, changed our lives, but have we seen it? And that's faith right there. It's something you ain't seen, but you believe it's gonna happen. You mean
Right.
like it's what it means the evidence of things not seen, meaning there is no evidence, but you know it's gonna happen. So that's what faith is. It's something you work for that you don't see. Like in here, we work for something. Have we seen it yet? No, we haven't, man. Imagine this. And you know what's funny? This is how you know we have faith. You mean we do camp. And in the camp, what do we say? We're gonna rule, man. We're gonna
Right.
rule while we're working some job that we hate, man. We're gonna
Right.
rule. And guess what? We are broke. You know what I mean? I'm gonna rule, and guess what? We don't even have £6 on us now, man. That that right there is faith. You're saying something, and the evidence ain't there. You obviously don't have it now, but you know it will happen.
Right.
Read on.
Can't. For by it the elders obtained a good report.
So for by the elders obtained a good re- report. Who are so this talking about, you know what I mean, the men of old, Isaiah, Ezekiel, they
Right.
got a good report. Now let me ask you, who gives that report?
Um, is it the Most High?
Yeah. And now, how do we know that that report is good? Because we read their books and what they read. Some of it happened. Of course, some is for the last days right now, but it happened, man. These men, through their faith, and they didn't see any of it, they got a good report, man. We can read in Isaiah about the fall of ancient Babylon. We can read in Ezekiel about the king of Tyre and how that he said that he would fall. And historically, these things happened. These men had faith. Imagine this, man. In the time of Isaiah, you know what I mean? The kingdom of it's like the kingdom of Babylon, it was on a rise, man. They were ruling, killing, you know what I mean, dominating. And the man of God goes, you know what's gonna happen? The Lord's going to bring them down. Do you know how
Right.
ridiculous that sounds when there's a power in front of you ruling, man? Everywhere they go, they're beating them in war. And now a man of God goes, you know what? You're gonna fall one day, man. He's got faith. He's talking about something, and the evidence obviously is not seen, man. But guess what? It happened, man. You can go into any history book and they'll tell you about the Babylonian Empire. They rise, they conquered Yomi, Jerusalem, Egypt, and lots of countries round about them, and then they fell, man. Daniel spoke about it too, man. These men obtained a good report, man. Read on.
Salakia. So sorry. That good report, is that to do with reputation, or is it like is it essentially used as like a good prophecy? They're given good information from the Most High of things that would happen.
No, it's their reputation.
Ah,
So meaning these men, you mean the guy, you mean they're known like damn Isaiah, man,
right, right.
Ezekiel, by their faith, you mean they got a good report, man.
Yeah, can't.
And I have in mind while they prophesied these things, it never happened while they was alive. Some of it did, some happened later, but they had faith, man. Imagine, you're going to the king of Tyre, you're saying, listen, you're rich now, but you're gonna fall. Now, relating it to verse 1, the evidence is not seen. Imagine if you're telling the king you're gonna fall. You mean you ain't gonna be rich anymore, and he's rich right now. While you're saying to him he's got gold, diamonds here, it's like, yeah, right. Like, this man's
God,
bad. You know what I mean? He don't believe you, but you got faith, and because you serve the Lord, you tell him anyway, man. Read on.
can't. Verse 3. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God.
All right, so through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God. Now, in this context here, what are the worlds right here?
So the societies. So is Paul basically saying that we weren't here in the beginning, but by what we read, we know the Lord made different societies.
That's right.
Like he
Now,
made the Chinese man.
the
And
worlds, he's not talking about there's Mars, Jupiter, Venus. Obviously, those things exist, but the context of it is the societies. So, you know what I mean? With the East Indians, they got their world. The Chinese got their world. The Mongolians got their world. Vietnamese got their world. Basically, the Most High, through His word, through the order He gave out, that's how these things happen. And it's faith. And of course, you know what I mean? We wasn't alive then. I cannot say, I was a witness. I wasn't there. But guess what? I got faith. The evidence ain't seen, but I know that, guess what? Through the word of God, that's what made it happen, man.
so when it says through faith, it's talking about basically by reading Genesis, we know this happened, even though we weren't there.
That's right, man.
Can't.
So this chapter right here is talking about faith, meaning things that you ain't seen, you believe in it because that's what you read. You look for it to happen because it's in the Bible. It hasn't happened yet. The evidence of it ain't seen, but you know it's gonna happen. And things in the past, you've read it, even though the evidence, you didn't see exactly how it happened, but though you read about it and it's what you see. So this chapter right here is talking about your faith, meaning even though it's not seen, you work for it anyway, man.
Right.
Read on.
Can't. So that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear.
So the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. So okay, first off, let's break it down. So the things which are seen. So remember now, in the context, which things are seen?
Um,
All right, so it says, so the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear.
So basically, the things that you see, meaning everything, weren't made by things that you can see. So I mean, like everything you see was made by things that you can't see today. We know the angel. We know the angels built everything in 7 days or 7 long periods. But again, you can't prove that. So we believe that everything that was made was made by the Alahayim, which you can't see. Meaning you need faith to believe that. If you're a wise man or a learned man, you wouldn't believe that. But if you got faith, then you believe it. So like
Yeah, that's right. Some things do require faith. We did not see it. But guess what? It is here though. You mean it was made by things that went here, things that we can apparently see now. It wasn't made by that. It came from, what's the word? The third dimension. It came from something out of this world, and it's saying, you know what I mean? You gotta have faith. You mean we read it in the Bible, and that is that, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Why? Because you know what I mean? It's like what you see now was happening back then. You know what I mean? You had like Greek philosophers back then. And you know what I mean? Just like now, people believe the Bible is a joke. You had people that believe that, you know what I mean, with the records we had, they were a joke. So you believe in this invisible God. So now, so now you don't worship no rock, no wood. Your God is alive and he's invisible. And you're like, yes. And they would laugh at you. You know what I mean? There's books on Greek philosophers. And when they came across us in the past, Israelites, they laughed at them, said they're dumb. They believe in some invisible God that they can't see. Why? Because the Greeks had idols. At least they believe that, well, I can see my God. We believe in something that he's alive, but we can't see him. He's out of this realm. And Greek philosophers back then thought that we was dumb.
So I believe in Acts, Paul ran upon some Greek philosophers that they would just debate all day. Was it Mars Hill? Was it?
Mars Hill. Let's get that too, man. On the back of that. But yeah, you know what I mean. You had Greek philosophers that thought we was crazy. You got no idol, so where's your God? We're like, listen, we don't need no idols. Our God's the living God, and they thought we was ridiculous. You know what I mean? So this chapter here is talking about faith. If that answers it for you, verse 3.
Can't. Yeah. Water.
No. Is there anything else, or
That was it.
I got you? No. Right, we're gonna get the one in Acts about the Greek philosophers. That's the one in Mars Hill. Yeah. It is Acts 18. Or Acts. So what was that again? 17 and 22. Acts 17 and 22.
Can't. Acts chapter 17 and verse 22. What?
I'll suck it's right. Officer.
Oh, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Nah, it's around here. 22. We'll start about 18.
Acts 17 and 18. And they took him and brought him up to Areopagus, saying, may we know what is this new doctrine?
Verse.
Yes, I think that was 19. Just read it. The one.
I got it. All right. Let's start from verse 16 just to set the scene.
Verse 16. Now, while Paul waited for them at Athens.
Where?
At Athens.
Now, you know what I mean? Now, of course, with Athens, that is the capital of Greece right there. And, you know, like I said, there was Greek philosophers, meaning people that they just sat down and spoke about philosophy all day.
So, you know the philosophy about if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a noise? Is that a Greek philosophy or?
That is a Greek philosophy. So what they believe is, if you're not around, then like if when the tree falls down, if it makes sound. And I know to us it's ridiculous, but in those times, Greek philosophers were deep. They were like, you know, like the people that were so wise. And you know what's funny? It's called philosophy. Does anyone know what the word philosophy means?
Is it someone that It's not facts, just an opinion.
That's right. So meaning a philosophy is an opinion. So these Greek philosophers weren't deep. They were just Greek people that had opinions. But over time, don't know why, Edomites look up to them. What's some other names?
Socrates and Plato.
Socrates, Plato, Strabo. You mean anyway, all manner of Greek names, and they were all gay too as well.
That's right.
You can look them up. They was heavily into homosexuality, man.
Right.
I mean, talking about philosophy. You need to stop laying with that man.
That's right.
Forget some philosophy. Leave that man alone, man. But yeah, you know what I mean? They were Greek philosophers. And of course, I mean, we know that Athens is the capital of Greece. So, you know what I mean? These men, they were heavily into philosophy. You mean nonsense? There's something else they invented. It's called the fallacies. A fallacy. Does anyone know what that is?
In the fallacy, like, it's like, yeah, was someone gonna answer it?
No, go on.
A fallacy, like, is that a lie in an argument or something like that?
Yeah, meaning a fallacy is if you're in an argument with someone, you're doing something that is not right, and you have lots of them. So there's not one. You got the Roman argument, meaning you're bringing up something which can be picked apart really easily. You got the ignorantum fallacy, means that you want to win an argument based on someone's ignorance. So you know, because they don't know, you rely on that. Then you got appeal, which like with that one there, you know what I mean? Because you can't debate something with facts, you basically appeal to everyone else. Look, that doesn't make no sense, in it. And guess what now with those Greek philosophers, from their philosophies, they came up with names for all of the fallacies that someone would do in an argument. You can look them up online. There's about 11 of them. You mean of things that people do in an argument and it's not right. And again, those things came from Greek philosophers as well. Read it.
Khan. His spirit was stirred in him, and when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry.
So now he's here, and we are in idolatry heavily, man. And you know what I mean? It basically made him it made him feel some kind of way, like, look at us, man. In Athens, just fully given to idolatry, man. It's fully just given to idols, man. And it's stirred him up like, I can't believe this, man. These are the children of God, man. Following Greek idols, man. Following Zeus idols, Poseidon idols, man. Hermes idols, man. And it, you know what I mean? It made him feel some kind of way, man. Read on.
Therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews and with the devout persons, and in the market daily with them that met with him.
So now, to get us out of the idolatry we was in, he was disputing with us daily, man. So he was disputing with those that, you know what I mean, they knew who they were, and also us Israelites who didn't know who we were. So he was disputing with us daily about all these idols that we had, man. Read on.
Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans.
Of the who?
Epicureans.
And you see, I'm not making this up. That group of philosophers, they do exist. You can look them up in Wikipedia. There were a group of Greek philosophers. It shows you that the Bible is real, man. The Bible ain't mentioning the Bible ain't mentioning a bunch of Greek philosophers and nobody knows about them. They are written in history. So of course, in their philosophy, they had certain beliefs, certain sects, you know what I mean? Not all Greek philosophers believe the same things. And again, these are in history. You can research them, read on.
and the Stoics,
and the Stoics as well, researching, these were also another set of Greek philosophers. We show that the Bible is a history book, man. It is historical information, man. Read on.
encountered him and said, "What will this babbler say?" Others, some, he seemeth to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Jesus and the resurrection.
Yes, now these philosophers like, what strange God is he talking about, man? He's teaching about Yahushua and some resurrection, a man that died and he resurrected. And also to show that this is real, in your own time, you can read books on Greek philosophers and they met Israelites and all of them say the same thing. They believe in some man that died and resurrected and they was laughing. Of course, we know it's real, but those books are from their angle, and they're like, that's nonsense. We showed you that it's true, man. Read on.
And they took him and brought him to Areopagus, saying, "May we know what this doctrine whereof thou speakest is? For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears."
So now, you know what I mean? These philosophers, they heard what they're talking about and like, this is odd. So you know what they've done? They brought him to Areopagus, man, so that he can stand in front of everyone, and that hopefully they can understand what this strange doctrine to them is. Reader.
We would know, therefore, what these things mean. For all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or hear something new.
And there you know, man, that is Greek philosophers right there, man.
So like I said, don't that sound like Speaker's Corner? Like everyone in this location just wants to either hear something new or tell something new. Spend all their Sundays debating. They're out there next week and next week with a camera, a YouTube channel. As all they do is debating something new or want to hear something new.
That's right, man. That represents Hyde Park, Sabika's honor very well, man. But all they do is just go on philosophy. You know what I mean? One day they debate on this. Next week they debate on that. Next week, you know what? I want to go over this again. It's just a group that just love philosophy. They don't believe in half of that stuff. Like in life, you'll meet someone, they just love to talk. It doesn't even need to make sense. It's just, you know what I mean? Because I can talk, I believe I should. It's like
just like on YouTube as well. It's like on YouTube, so many people just talking in the camera about this, going on with themselves. You think, you're not doing anything.
That's right, man. That's right. As Sis said, man, on the internet, there's bloggers everywhere, man. Bloggers with the cameras in their face. Yeah, I think this, and what we need to do it. And you know what I mean, talking nonsense, man. You know what I mean? Some people love to be seen, and those Greek philosophers just love to be heard. Remember, it's called philosophy, meaning it's an opinion. It doesn't need to be based on facts. It's just what you think. And here's the problem. With philosophy, there's no end. If we're both having like a debate on philosophy, who can be right? You mean your philosophy can just grow and grow and you believe this and that. Mine can grow and grow and lead to this and that. Where's the facts? Where's the proof? And that's what you see in Hyde Park. There's tons of people with philosophies and opinions and they love to be heard, man. Any camera that's around them, they want to start talking, man. They want to call someone over to have a debate with them. There's people that love to be heard. And like what the sister said, man, loads of those internet bloggers as well, man. There's people that love to be heard, man. Always want a camera in their face. Reader.
Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, "Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things you are too superstitious."
And they are what?
Too superstitious.
And that's what philosophy brings, man. You're like, damn, if I do this, this might happen. So that comes from philosophy, man. That, you know what I mean? Philosophy is the root of it. because it's philosophy. It's not based on facts, and you know that philosophy grows and grows, and then you end up believing a ton of stuff that ain't real, man. A ton of lies, and there ain't no facts to it, man. Read, man.
That was the other one.
That was it. All right, so that's and that. You know what I mean? So what Officer Crawford done is got a rope, I guess. So now this is where Paul would have been in his lifetime.
So if I can,
Yeah.
just to prove that Speaker's Hill, Speaker's Corner is the same as like Mars Hill was a place where everyone can debate whatever they believe, whether it be religious or political, and Speaker's Corner is the same thing. So Speaker's Corner is an area in which open air public speaking, debate, and discussions are allowed. The original and best known is in the northeast area of Hyde Park in London, England.
There you go, man. For those of you that haven't been there, you know, if you drive, where's that? It's at the Arch,
Marble Arch.
Marble Arch. You'll see Hyde Park, and I believe it's every Sunday. You know what I mean? I don't know when it starts, but you have Sabika's honor, where you know they just debate, and it's very philosophical. Just you know, what about this? What about that? You know what I mean? It's just people that don't resolve nothing, and that comes from Greek philosophy, where you sit down and you talk all day, man. No one wants to answer. It's just people that like to be heard, man. And guess what? Hyde Park is like that, man. So now what Crawford has got a rope, I guess. What the place where he went in Acts 18.
And that's a rope, because a mountain or Mars Hill where everybody will just go and debate, just like everyone gathers in a corner in London and debates.
There you go, man. So again, you know what I mean? Not trying to divert, but the Bible is historical, man. You know what I mean? One thing I never want no one to do, don't read the Bible and think it's a myth, man.
And so like I say, it says here that on the hill there's a plaque of Paul's sermon, or whatever what Paul said in what we read in the book of Acts.
There you have it. Even what he said is written in that same place, man. And people say the Bible ain't real, man. He went there, and there's even a plaque for him as well, man. So there you go, man. The Bible is history.
Right.
The events in the Bible did happen, man. Did happen. And you know what I mean? And there's evidence of it, man. No other religious book has more historical evidence than the Bible. I think I'm lying, research it. You know, in my own time, I looked up, you know, East Indian books, you know what I mean, Arabian history and all that. And guess what? The Bible historically beats all them. Do you want to know a fact? The Bible is the only book to have all the major empires in it. The Assyrian Empire, the Babylonian Empire, the Persian and the Mede, the Greeks and the Romans. No other quote unquote religious book has all of them in. You know what I mean? And also the Bible too, even from a geography standpoint, it adds up, man. You can find Jerusalem, Bethlehem, you know what I mean? Wherever these men went, these places can be found. In other books, you know that you don't find it. Many parts, people are like, well, how did that happen? This place isn't there. In the Bible, everything is there, man. Everything is there. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get so what we're looking to get out the Bible dictionary. Mars Hill.
Bible Compact Dictionary. Mars Hill, a barren hill 370 feet high, northwest of the famous Acropolis in Athens.
There you go. So remember now, in Acts, he went to Athens and on that same hill. And historically, the hill is there. They even got the height of it as well, man. Read up.
It was dedicated to Ares, the god of war. The elevated place became the seat of Greek council.
It became what?
The seat of Greek council.
And that place, Mars Hill, became the seat of Greek council, man. Meaning, whenever the Greeks wanted to counsel about something, that's where they would go and they would debate and they would philosophize it out till, you know, they believed some Greek philosopher was right. So, you know, so the Bible is historical, man. The Quran, forget about it, man. The
Right.
Quran is historical, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to gloat on nothing, but last year I've done a lecture and the Quran's not historical, man. Even
That's
even the geography of it, it don't make sense, man. In Mecca, there's palm trees, olives. Listen, those things don't even grow in Mecca. Mecca has 11 centimeters of rain a year. You ain't growing nothing there. But yeah,
right.
in the Quran, it describes it as it's got this tree and like lots of fruits and that, and it's never been there. You don't find that in the Bible at all, man. But that's for another time. But yeah, where was we? All right, I'm gonna send you another article. Right? Bear with me 1 second. Yeah. So I'm getting to another article right here, and this article right here is heavy, man. Because what do people like to say? Black people just moan too much. We're all the same. I mean, we're all in the same race. And let me tell you something. This article right here comes from an insider, man. I believe it's the HMRC or some sort of on, and she lets it known that listen, it's not the same. How they deal with white people and how to deal with black people is two different ways. So we're gonna get that up, then we're gonna get into the Bible as well.
The Guardian newspaper, black officially quit racist Windrush compensation schemes to Lakia.
So now with this woman here, she works in the compensation scheme, and she had to quit. Why? Because how they deal with trying to compensate someone from the Windrush is different to how they will compensate a white person, and we're gonna find out how it's done, man. You mean everyone likes to say we're in the same race, we're in the same fight, but we can't even get the same compensation. We can't even get that the same. Reader.
Exclusive former Home Office employee Alexandra Ankara says some colleagues showed complete lack of humanity.
So now her working on the inside said that the colleagues she worked with, they show lack of humanity, man. What is she talking about? Meaning, when it comes to one of us, they become inhumane, man. You know what I
Right.
mean? Remember now, if you're meant to compensate someone, just let them have it. When it comes to us, it's different. It's not the same. Reader.
Complaints of racism and discrimination within the Home Office teams set up to address the Windrush scandal prompt the launch of an internal investigation and the resignation of a senior official. The Guardian has learned
Mhm.
the most senior black Home Office employee in the team responsible for the Windrush compensation scheme resigned this year, describing the scheme as systematically racist and unfit for purpose. It can be revealed.
And there you go, man. Many people, you know, when when you say the odds are against us, what do they like to say? Oh, that's nonsense, man. We all can do it. When guess what? On the inside, once we get there, we realize how racist it is. We
Right.
find out how much this empire is against black people, man. Imagine this. The Windrush done no wrong. And now when you gotta pay them back, you don't want to even compensate them right, man. You don't want to give them what they deserve. And you know what? You know what? They deserve even extra, man. And you don't want to give them even the little that they deserve. Read on.
Come. The Guardian has also learned that a separate set of complaints about discrimination within the different Home Office team researching the causes and the Windrush scandal led to an internal investigation. About 20 members of staff working on the independent Windrush lessons learned, reviewed by Wendy Williams, were interviewed by a civil service, equality, diversity, and inclusion. The officer, after allegations of racially discriminatory treatment were made by minority ethnic staff members.
All right. So we're not going to read all that. I'm going to just skip to specific paragraphs we want to read all. All right. The paragraph says, as the only black senior member of the team, sorry, the paragraph before that, she said she raised concerns.
She said a senior colleague criticized her for always seeing things through the prism of race, and she was censored for standing outside and throwing stones in.
Stop at the paragraph above.
She said she raised concerns to her bosses on several occasions about what she felt was systematic racism within the scheme.
All right. So now, for time's sake, she noticed that when it came time to compensate someone who was black and some Asians as well, that it was different. You mean when it came to a white person, they got all their money, no questions asked. But when it came to us, for us to get the compensation we deserve, it became a hassle. It became very hard to basically compensate a black person in this scheme that they have. And why am I going here? Because people love to say we all are fighting in the same race. You know what I mean? When we're obviously not. Some people have it easy. They deserve something, they get it. And us as black people, we deserve something. And on the inside, we don't get it. On the inside, they make sure that we would never get it. And a black woman on the inside, she's seen it firsthand. Reader.
It's not just racism, it is an unwillingness to look with any curiosity or genuine concern at the situation of victims, many of whom were elderly and unwell.
So who's talking about? The people of the Windrush, man. They're old. They won their case to stay in the UK. Now it's their job to pay them back. And now they don't even look at it. They're like, nah, they don't want to compensate them. And her being black, she noticed it, that when it comes to them, remember this now, they're old. That money they probably need. And it's like you don't want them to give it. You mean, even though they work for, even though it's their job to basically hand it out, you mean, so I'm going to help this person out, compensate this guy here. And it's like, when it comes to black people, they don't want to compensate them. And they don't keep in mind that these people are old and many of them are unwell. Reader.
She said as a result, a group of predominantly black and Asian people were being re-traumatized by the compensation scheme, she said.
And imagine that scheme is to compensate and you're not compensating. Now, of course, I'm singling it down to black people. Black people deserve something and you're not giving it them, and it's your job. The organization you're in is to compensate. And when it comes to black people that deserve it, they don't want to give it. Really?
She said a senior colleague criticized her for always seeing things through the prism of race, and she was censored for standing outside and throwing stones in.
I mean, in the work environment, they didn't want to be around the man. They treated her like an outsider for stating the obvious. Read on.
As the only black senior member of the team, she was irritated by these rebukings. After started asking if I was throwing stones from the outside, who put me on the outside. She felt her role on the compensation team was marginalized and that her experiences as a black person, as a professional, were diminished and devalued.
And there you go, man. And let me tell you something. Now, I'm not telling no one don't get educated in this world, but let me tell you something. Never think you're better than a black man on the road, man. And I'm gonna explain why. So many of us, in the world, I'm educated, and let me tell you something. In the work world, whatever you think you have, it gets demoralized. You could be the
Right.
smartest guy in the room. You being black, like, please, I'm not listening to you. And let me tell you something. This woman here, she was a barrister. You mean she's very educated, and in that compensation scheme right there, they made her education feel demoralized, man. They don't care who you are, from as long as you're black. They don't care, man. Now, I'm not saying don't get educated. No, I'm not saying don't get education. That's not what I'm saying. But always know that you ain't above no other black person, man. Because in that world, they do not care. Reader.
I am not a disgruntled employee. I am not bringing employment tribunal claim. This was not about my job. It was about meeting the government's promise to put right the harm to many people had suffered, she said.
Mhm. And there you go, man. So in your own time, you can read the rest. But there you have it, man. From the inside, you know what I mean? So long, black people said, they are against us. And what do people like say? You're crazy. Like, come on, why does the government care about you? You know what I mean? But guess what they do, man? Even in this scheme right here, they don't want to pay the black people. People do care about us in the wrong way. They don't want you to get nothing. You mean
Right.
are racially abused on every level, man. In education and even in this world, what we are reading about right here, they are against us. So it's not a black myth of what I mean. Everyone's against us. It's true. And if you get on the inside enough, you will see it for yourself. Where it seems like they have something against us. You mean they can compensate any other race, but when it comes to black people, it becomes a difficult thing. Well, how do we know you ain't got any money in your bank? Have you got anything? Well, we compensate you, but you got money already, so nah. You know what I mean? They make it they make it hard when it's their job to compensate, man, and they don't want to do it.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So these things do exist, and it's not a black ghetto myth either, man. It's something that happens. And again, people on the inside do see it, man. Give me Jeremiah 11 and 18.
Jeremiah chapter 11, verse 18. And the Lord hath given me knowledge of it, and
All
I
right.
know it.
So now I'm going to give you some backdrop, right? This is in the time of the life of Jeremiah. Now, in this time, everyone hated him, and some men in the town where he was in, they devised a plan against him. They wanted him dead. So I'm gonna let you know that first. Now, of course, you know me, it's a manifold, but the base part of this was that some people wanted him dead. They couldn't stand him. He was prophesying, it was happening, and these men wanted him dead. So the Lord made him wise to a plan that they had against him. Read on.
Kana wakan. And the Lord hath given me knowledge of it, and I know it, Then thou shewedst me their doings.
And the Lord showed him their doings, man. The Lord showed him what these men were gonna do, man. These men wanted Jeremiah dead. And let me tell you something. In here, we know the white man's doings, man. Commanding General YAHANNA on Black Watch makes us know the doings of our oppressor, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And in the UPK, that's our job, man, to sound the alarm. In Ezekiel, you know what I mean? We are called watchmen. And what does a watchman do? A watchman warns you. And guess what? We warn you, man. You know what I mean? In this school, we know what's happening. And it's our job to warn you so that, you know what I mean, you don't get misled. You don't believe in the lies of England, America, or wherever we are. Reader.
But I was like a lamb or an ox that is brought to the slaughter, and I knew not what they are I knew not that they are devised devices against me.
And there you go, man. That is black people right there, man. We are as a lamb just led to die, man. And we know not that there is a plan against us.
Right.
We don't know, man. We believe that lie of, it's the same race. What's the other one? We all have our hand in the same well, or the fountain. One of them ones. Meaning basically we're all in the same place, and that's a lie, man. There is a plot against black people, and we don't know it, man. We
Right.
don't know it. While we're in the world getting higher and just figuring out the things of the world, there's a plan against us, and we know it not, man. And that's why when you read articles like this, they open your eyes that, the so-called systematic racism does exist, man. Racism on a higher level is real. It is real, man. And this black woman got the eye opener, man. She's seen it for herself. But when it came time to compensate someone who was black, it became difficult. And then when she spoke against it, they made it seem like an outsider, like, nah, you see, like, it's you. You're isolating yourself. You're not one of us. You know what I mean? Why? Because she spoke up for black people, man. She spoke
Right.
up for black people and the money that they deserve, man. These people from the Windrush, our ancestors, they're old, man, unwell. They need that money and they didn't want to give them, man. Systematic racism is real, man. Imagine this, their job is to compensate. It's a scheme to compensate. And when it comes to black people, they did not want to compensate. So let me ask you a question. If we're just talking about that sector there, how far do we want to go, man? Education.
Right.
You know what I mean? How far do you want to go? Jobs, man. Dumgabar done a heavy lecture last year on European supremacy has destroyed blacks and Hispanics. And he broke it down and he showed it by facts that if your name sounds black, you won't get a job. If your name is like, like a Jerome, Darnell, Daniel, you know what I mean? No, I mean, those are men's names. What some female names? LaQuisha, Tanisha, you know what I mean? Sherelle, you know what I mean? On your CV, if they see some black sounding name, they're not going to hire you. That is systematic racism.
Right.
See our youngsters on the road, you know what I mean? Everyone goes, they're lazy. They are not lazy, man. They are not lazy. The white man's the devil, man. That's the
That's
problem.
right.
It's not black people being lazy. You wouldn't give them a job anyway. And the ones of us that do, it's just luck. Their battles against the war, they needed a worker like that. You know what I mean? We don't get it because we're great. We get it because we were in the right place at the right time. But if they had the chance to, look at the names, we wouldn't be getting the jobs that we have neither.
Right.
And you know what I mean? In that lecture, I would recommend, everyone look it up. It's on it's on the Facebook and the YouTube as well. ISUPK, United Kingdom. I mean, heavy lecture, and it is a known fact. They have the records to show it, man. That look, if your name sounds black, you ain't getting a job. You ain't gonna even have an interview. It was in the lecture. You won't even have an interview. You're there like another Daniel. You know what I mean? Nah, you know what? So systematic racism is real, man. It's not a
That's
black.
right.
You know what I mean? We're not trying to blame somebody, as they like to say. You black people, you you like love to blame somebody, man. That is nonsense. What black people see is reality, man, and our oppressor can't handle it. Read that again.
Can. Verse 11.
Oh,
Actually,
sorry. Also, what Hadassah said was right, man. Some jobs they want to see how you look. If your name sounds white, they want to see is the person black. You know what I mean?
right.
You can't. You know what I mean? If you get by a name, that might not be enough, man. They might want to see you. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. This is when I was about 16. You know what I mean? I applied for a job. The man seen me and his face looked like sad, like, oh, you. He's like, oh, yeah, you know what? I don't think this position is for you. And when I went there, it was full of Indians, man. Meaning what?
Right.
Meaning what? I don't fit the bill, man. It wants to keep other East Indians in there. You see me, and it's like it stops in tracks. Uh, yeah, you know what? And then it said the most rudest thing. You haven't got a job, but we can still have the interview. Like, no. If I ain't got a job, then why am I having the interview for?
Right.
Go home now. Like, you know what I mean? Why am I gonna sit down with you for half an hour and you basically told me from the start I ain't got the job? So you know what I mean? I just went home. But this is real, man. Systematic racism is real. And guess what? I'm not alone. Many people can tell you what happened to them, man. I'm just one of many. You know what I mean? Read that again. Suck it.
Another one can. Jeremiah chapter 11, verse 19. But I was like a lamb or an ox that is brought to the slaughter, and I knew not that they had devised devices against me, saying, let us destroy the tree with the fruit thereof, and let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name may be no more remembered.
And there you go, man. That's what these heathens want to do, man. They want to cut us off, man. They don't want no part of us. And you know what's sad? While they don't want anything of us, they still want what we have. They want our economics, but they don't want no part of us, man. You know what I mean? You open up a black shop, all the East Indian shops next to it, they will try to get rid of that shop. They will, you know what I mean, make sure that with the prices they have, they are extremely low so that they can run that black business out of there. But what's wrong with that, man? As a black person, isn't it right that I go into a black shop? And when it happens, they literally try to run black businesses out of the place. And that's the thing, man. We are as lambs led to the slaughter, man. A plan is devised against us, and we know it not. While we're just trying to survive, there is a plan against us, and that plan is called systematic racism, man.
That's right.
It's a system. They make sure that they get richer and we stay poor. If we can't get jobs, then what happens? We stay poor, man. If we can't get jobs, and I'm going to make this clear, it's wrong. Some people are going to have a lifestyle of doing things that are illegal. Why? Because they want to survive. It's wrong. But you know what I mean? It's by design. It's not because he's lazy. It's because systematically you make sure that he doesn't get no job, man. Systematically, you make sure that one race of people they don't receive a penny, man.
Right.
That's what you do systematically, and that is a plan devised against black people, and we know it not. It happens, and many of us don't even know it. Of course, us in the school, you know what I mean, We know it, but for our brothers in the world, they do not know it, man. They
Right.
think they have an equal chance. The opportunity is the same, and it's not the same. It's not the same. Our oppressor make sure we never receive what he would, man. Our oppressor makes sure that what he can get in funds, donations, all kind of things that would never fall into black hands. And that's what our oppressor does, man. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. All these shops you see, what do people like to make you think? They work so hard. The East Indians, you know what I mean? They got it right, and that is a lie, man. The government gives them grants, loans, stuff that a black man would never get, man. And then they point at you and go, "You're lazy." Look at them. Look at all the shops they got. When it's not the case, one nation's getting help and another nation isn't, and that right there is systematic racism. You will
That's
make
right.
one race, you know what I mean, they get richer, and you keep one poor. Read on.
Oh no, I can't. And that his name be it's like that his name may be no more remembered. Verse 20. But O Lord of hosts, that judgest righteously, that triest the reins and the heart, let me see thy vengeance on them.
And there you
For
go,
unto
man. And that's us, man. While they devise a plan against us, you know what I mean? For those that are righteous, we pray to the Lord that, Lord, put vengeance on them, man. Put vengeance on them. You know why? Because they are the root of it. Many people just pointing the finger at black people. You know, they need to get jobs, man. Need to stop
right,
selling drugs. Need to stop doing this. And no one points the finger at the hand behind the evil, man. No one points the English. You know what I mean? No one points the hand at the people that have us in the situation that we are in and then blame them when we got evidence that systematic racism is real, man.
right,
Government and the powers that be make sure that black people stay poor and they will elevate their own people, man, in England. And we got the proof. You're being Officer Dungabar did a great lecture, man. So that if your name even sounds black, you ain't gonna get no job. They won't even have you for an interview. They won't have you for an interview, man. You wanna know why? Because they don't want you to get nothing, man. And that's the thing, man. Us as black people, we've given England our life. We came here in the Windrush, made England great. England was run down. You can research it, man. And guess what? They called us over here. They called us over here to fix a country that has always hated black people, man. Black soldiers fought in all the wars, and guess what? You know what I mean? They want to get rid of us, man. Even after the war, they were trying to make they were trying to make us leave, man. After they said that we could stay, it's funny how, you know what I mean? They say that you can stay, and then now that they win and they get everything they want, now all of a sudden everyone has to go home. When okay, all right, so we got Commander Rockwell, 1999 Kane. Well, listen, all right, if you want to debate this, tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we have a radio show called On the Ends, and the number will be on the screen. And guess what? If you want to talk about this, England doesn't owe us anything. Then we can talk about all of this. And let me tell you something. And and you know what I mean? We invite you on the show. We invite you on the show. We'll let you talk. And then guess what? I'm gonna show you that England owes black people everything, man.
That's right.
that's
You know what I
right.
mean? You're saying you don't. That day you will find out. Listen, you don't know what you're talking about. So you know what I mean? So you know what I mean? The invite's there for you. So let's see if you're man enough, man. You know what I mean? Let's see what you're made of, man. You know You know what I mean? So we'll see how that pans out. But as I was saying, man, black people fought in the wars, man. You know what I mean? We made the London Underground. You can look it up, man. And then now being told England owes us nothing, man. So then, you know what I mean? We made England while it is, man. We came here via the Windrush. And that's the thing, man. A plan is devised against us, and we know not. And that's why we need to serve the Lord, man. We have a God. We have a God. And let me tell you something, black man. Your God is not the white man's God, man. Your God
Right.
is a black God. And guess what? He cares about black people, man. He sees the sufferings of black people. He sent a king to save black people. And guess what? White people hijacked it, man. In the church, do you know what you see in any church? It's called white hijacking of a black religion, man. That's,
Sorry, sir. The devil's in the chat. They probably not. They probably ain't got no credentials anyway to come on the show. They probably just some like dirty teeth chavs
yeah.
that got 6 can of lager and just chatting shit, to be honest. So they most likely they won't come on, man. You know what I mean? Probably some football hooligans that clicked in the door himself, and I don't know. The impression I get is that they ain't really no scholars or anyone with some sense. Just some devils with a English t-shirt on, with England football t-shirt on, with a 6 can. So luck, yeah.
Probably got a can their hands. Yo, England owes you nothing. You know what I mean? Who knows, man? Oh, and then white people love which one is it? It's the meth. You know that white people love meth. Probably some meth heads, which you know what I mean, got nothing to do, man. But we'll see. We will see. All I'm saying is on the show, if you want to talk this out, lay off the meth, you know what I mean, and we can have a good conversation. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But yeah. So as what Jeremiah said, there's a plan against us, and we knew it not, and that is black life, man. You know what I mean? All these nations got plans, and we don't know it. While we're too busy trying to survive, which is normal. You know what I mean? We don't know the plans that these nations have, and it's called systematic racism. It's systematically set up that one people they prosper and another nation gets nothing, and that is systematic racism right there, man. You know what I mean? Last scripture. Let me get it. Let's get Psalms 66 and 16.
Psalms chapter 66 and verse 16. Come and hear, all ye that fear God, and I will declare what he has done for my soul.
And guess what? That is One West, man. We tell all blacks and Hispanics, come here, man. Come here, all you that are afraid of God. And guess what? We say what the Lord's done for us, man. In here, the Lord's done many things for us in here, man.
Right.
Many of us had issues, and the Lord solved all of them, man. You know what I mean, if you're a black man, Hispanic man with any element, anything stopping you, you come near. Why? Because the Lord's helped us too, man. The Lord has helped us too, just like how He can help you, man. Just like how He can help you. You know what I mean? That's what you need, man. The Lord helped us. He can help you, black man. Read on.
I cried unto him with my mouth, and he was extolled with my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
If I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me.
And there, man, if you have sin in you, the Lord ain't with you, man. And why is this key? Because all of what's going on now, you need the Lord, and the Lord won't be with us if sin is in you, man. If you ain't following God's laws, God will not be with you. God won't be with us. And that's why it's important that we stay righteous, man. We stay doing God's will. We stay doing what's right. Or otherwise, God will not be with us. And these last days, England can't help you. England's bankrupt, man. You know what I mean? Look, man. England is broke. one of the richest countries that had an empire on this earth are damn there flat on their face, man. England is falling. And let me tell you something, those Edomites that was writing on the chat, they're mad. England's falling, man. They're probably redundant right now. And you know what I mean? They're hearing me. Look at that black bug talking down on England. Go home. But let me tell you something, man. I would rather be anywhere else but England. You know what I mean? This place ain't great. You know what I mean? It's cold and damp and groggy. You know what I mean? There ain't nothing great here. You know what I mean? Love to tell people, love to everyone, you go home. But look, man, you're in Jamaica every minute you can get there, man. You're
Right.
everywhere in like Spain, in Dubai, in France. Why don't you stay here
God.
and eating everyone's food? Vindaloo is from India, man. The fish and the chips, that's not English, you know. That comes from Sweden. That's not English, man. Your fish and chips is not English. That is a Swedish dish, man. You mean and the tea, Yorkshire tea. Do you know something? It comes from India, idiots. You know what I mean? With tea, it's not British. Tea comes from India. England only grows potatoes, and that's it, man. And the cabbage. It never used to, but guess what? They robbed that from South America, man. England owes many countries many things. You know what I mean? But that's the clap.
So even Cadbury's chocolate, man. Like chocolate don't come from Birmingham, man. It don't come from Bourneville or Bournemouth. Bourneville, man. It comes from South America, man. Even Dunlop tires, rubber don't come from England. You know what I mean? Tea don't come from England. Yorkshire tea don't come from England. Vindaloo, chicken tikka, all these things that I love. So even kebab's from Turkey. But yet they talk about how Britain's the greatest country, man. These devils, there's something else, man.
That's right, man. That's right. But yeah, man, that's the class. I'm gonna hand it over to priest and officer Karafia.
All right, clap it up. Okay, you're gonna give one kiss to teacher. I'm in a visual. I'm Madiam. Gotta give one kiss to teacher. I'm Madam Shabbat. I'm Madiam. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Bakatah. Yaja Matah. A class dismissed.